28 handicap, looking for tips to steepen the backswing and lessen the out to in move, causing pull slices. So I would agree with that second part, but your first part about steepening the backswing, let's look in for this second swing in the video as you settle in on the toes, maybe bending over a bit much, and we'll likely adjust that grip as well. But that first move takeaway is plenty steep enough, and I believe it's also causing you to have a very steep and out to in downswing. So as you get that ball set here, let's pause the video for 1 second. And right now that ball is set forward of the center line on this curved mat here. So this arc is a decent tool to use when you're trying to practice your swing plane. And by setting up to the left of center, you're influencing that swing path or arc of the club to already be swinging left of your target. Now it's also going to make your backswing path go more upright or outside, which I don't think we'll need to do. So begin by adjusting this practice method to either start the ball here or even back of center. Don't worry where your feet are relative to this. I mean, you can square them up, of course, but if you play them back of center, you'll actually see that white line start to influence more of the in to out path. Can help for some, might be absolutely useless for you, but everyone's different. As you settle into this last shot here, we'll do a proper analysis once that club sets down finally before you take it away. So right about here the ball is favoring the toe, plenty of space away, and that's causing you to have a bit more bend from that setup position. The grip is as weak as I'd imagine, which is why you're likely to have a lot of club face control issues through strike. But that comes secondary to the path that's occurring right now. Because with a primary path line, I'd say your camera angles are okay, but playing it through as slow as we can, the first move is going to start right away by turning and bringing that club more up and away from your body. The first move with your left shoulder is okay as you're beginning to tilt down and it looks like the club might have a chance to get deep enough to the top. But as we continue that movement of the shoulders, that left shoulder will rise as your posture stands up out of its starting position, and now all of a sudden your shoulders are very flat and you're much taller than you were at your setup position. Things could be recovered from here, but what you do is you squat and then turn out of it, not really getting your shoulders to work downward or that club to work downward on the path at all. Could be the grip and the club face causing you to do this, could be that backswing path influenced by being so far outside, but I think you can do a couple things that can help change this immediately. So we'll go all the way back to the beginning to get a couple looks at this. This first one looks a bit different as your shoulders are more square to closed from that setup, and I do like that position. It should actually help work that path more inside. I'm not looking to change your path to go necessarily inside your path line, but if you use the trace of the shaft, look to have your club cut through this position here, right where your hands were. If you can get your hands and club to just cover this position right here at P2, you're on plane, and you're going to be working that club in a nice position. But already the hands start working away from the body, and that's going to lift that club straight up. The toe is tough to see where it is, but it looks square, but it's certainly going to roll open to the top, as your grip could be 10 finger, could be overlapping there, and a lot of loose control at the top. So there's a few things that you could begin with, but I think that just changing your grip is going to do a lot for your club face control at the top, and then drop any notion you have of the inside takeaway being a bad thing, because you're just simply way too far outside with your takeaway and it's harming your backswing. So if you can, either send in another video or look for these checkpoints when you are recording yourself. One, I already said it, at P2, have the club cut through that path line. And P2 is right about here. Get all of that blurriness to be right down there. Hands, club, everything working more inside and around your body. The second checkpoint, we could look for more shoulder tilting down, but I'll keep it easier for you. Try to keep your left arm working a bit more across your chest. And what that's going to do is that's straight alone going to flatten out your swing and maybe be the first step to help you dropping that right shoulder more down. Because the squat and the attack down with that right hand really looks like you're just throwing every part of your muscle from the right side of your body down and into the ball. and the golf swing should be more of a pull than a push. And when I see that shaft get steeper from the top and that right hand give a lot of push from this side, that's often a big push from the right side, which is likely to come over the top and do what we just saw there. So before we get to our tour comparison, let's get to our, this is our middle swing. Again, closed in the stance, looks like you're trying to keep it inside, but then the hands just work far away from your body. So the move is repetitive, and I think that you can really make a nice adjustment by changing your grip and changing your backswing. So let's line you up one last time with the last video and go to our overlaid Tour Pro, which from this setup right about here, we will fade into the abyss as Dustin Johnson appears, and we'll show a couple positions that we'd like to see here. So first, with that path line, let's make sure we move the right video here. And the takeaway, Dustin is one of the more vertical swingers of the golf club, and that is a takeaway that's just barely working above the path line. But note how the club head and hands are sort of in the same position, or the club head is covering the hands. That limited rotation of the hips, as he's very flexible to continue working the arms and hands to the top. I'm not worried about your wrist angles now, as your grip change should affect what's going on up there, but the note of using Dustin was to see how much shoulder tilt he has in that top of the backswing position. So let's play it through again, just as we moved the left shoulder work down initially like yours did, but then you would stand up out of your posture and then flatten out that shoulder tilt. So if we fade back to you, I've got to move the video up quickly, fade back, zoom down. If we go again and watch this shoulder tilting angle, it should match the path. That's an ideal position to see the left shoulders. And move too quickly, let's slow it down. First move, looks like they're almost going to line up to that yellow line, but then you stand up and flatten out. So if you can match that spine angle, matching your angle more downward, you have a much greater chance of bringing that path more from the inside. So plenty of info there. I'd hope you'd follow up with some questions or emails. If you have anything, please follow up with me, sendaswing.com.